who are you?
I'm Dr. Samuel H. Gruber from the University of Miami, the Rosenstiel School of Marine and Atmospheric Sciences. They call me Doc. I established the Bimini Biological Field Station back in 1990. I've been working in shark research since 1960. Established the American Elasmobranch Society in 1983. Established the IUCN Shark Specialist Group in 1990. Published about 175 scientific papers. Full professor. Did my postdoc with Konrad Lorenz in Germany. No, that about sums it up.
Most impressive.
Well,
isn't it?
that's just my academic career.
Yeah, true. And what got you started first?
When I was a college student, of course, when I was a child, I was always interested in the sea. I was a springboard diver, not a baseball player. I was always interested in fish. When the other little kids were going and trading baseball cards, I was running down to the docks to look at what fish that were brought in. I collected shells with a passion when I was little. When I went to college, I was going to go to pre-med, and we dissected little dogfish sharks in comparative anatomy, and I thought that was fascinating. And I was a spearfisher, and I once got menaced by a hammerhead shark. That summer I was teaching the laboratory as a student teacher in laboratory of comparative anatomy, and when this shark menaced me, I thought I was going to be dead. And I went back to my professor and I asked him, what about this shark attacks and hammerheads and things? And much to my parents' chagrin, I gave up medicine and went into marine biology. The rest, as they say, is history.
And did your parents ever come round, or?
Oh yeah, yeah, sure. I mean, in truth, I had three possibilities for careers when I graduated or was near to graduating college. One was as a professional ballet dancer. The other was as an air cadet in the Air Force, jet jockey. And the third was marine biology, and they thought marine biology would be better than the other two. So.
The ballet dancing is not something I'd have imagined, in fact, even.
Yeah, well, I was a springboard diver and
Oh, yeah, cool.
pretty good one when I was a kid. I was an AAU champion in 1 meter and 3 meter, and I once saw this cute girl go into the ballet class, and I followed her in, and I almost became a ballerino.
And so you're well known for your sensory work on sharks.
Yeah.
Is that right?
It is true. And for the first 15 years of my career, I studied hearing and vision in sharks under a grant from the Navy. And then after that, I wondered what it was all about. Why did they have these amazing visual systems and hearing and all? So I decided to look at behavior in a more ecological way. And I spent the next 15 years doing combined laboratory and field researches. And then the final 15 years of my career, I guess 60 to 75, 75 to 90, and then 90 to 2005, this final portion of my career, I've focused on education, training students to go to shark research, and strictly field research. So that's sort of the way it developed.
And what do you think what are the most important questions that remain unanswered about sharks?
The most important question that remain unanswered about sharks, I could fill a book with those because we only have scratched the surface. We don't know a great deal. For instance, this shark that I've spent 40 years working on, I have no idea what it does once it gets older than about 12 years, which is the beginning of maturity. I don't really know how they feed. We've never really seen them feed. I don't know what their social behavior is as adults. I mean, there's Nobody's ever seen them mate. I mean, there's a myriad of questions just about their life history that could be answered, never mind their amazing physiological adaptations, their incredible sensory systems, their evolutionary history and paleontology. That's all, up for grabs. It'll be a long time before we know things about sharks that we do about lions, for instance.
And if someone wanted to, let's say someone wanted to follow in your footsteps, what would be your advice to them?
If somebody wanted to follow in my footsteps, I would say that they should get a very firm grounding in the natural sciences, especially in the mathematics and in physics. Then they will have the basis for understanding how sharks work in the physical world. It's a background that I didn't get enough of. That's a big regret for me.
Physics in the end becomes philosophy, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose all science in the end becomes philosophy, but in this case, physics in the end allows you to build your own instruments. It allows you to understand the devices, tracking devices better, and the satellite transmitters, and make instruments for measuring, for transducing different signals that the shark might receive that you want to know about, like temperature and currents and so on. With a physics background and electronics background, you could do that. With a computer background, you can do a lot. So between biostatistics, computer science, and physics, you need to do that. You really need to do that.